So today I'm talking about a Honda with the P1168 code, what it is, and how you go about fixing it. And so what is a Honda P1168 code? Well, it's an HO2S11 label, circuit low voltage, fault, bank 1, sensor 1. And what does this mean? Well, they're sensors and they're located on the exhaust, and they do two things. The first thing they do is they monitor how much oxygen was burnt off during combustion, and then the onboard computer uses this information to adjust the air-fuel ratio mixture that goes into the cylinders. And then the second thing they do is they also have heater elements built in, and this does a few things. It helps the system go into what's called a closed loop quicker, and it also monitors the catalytic converter. And the onboard computer's seen a problem with these sensors, so it's going to have to be troubleshooted to know why. And some possible causes, well, it could be a bad oxygen sensor, could be in the wiring, like an open or short, could be a blown fuse, and it can also be an exhaust leak. So be sure to keep a lookout for any exhaust leak, since if there is, then it could throw these sensors off. So that's something to keep in mind. And so the first thing they're going to do is going to be to locate this bank 1, sensor 1 oxygen sensor. And there can be some differences. It's really going to vary. It's going to depend on the year of the Honda, the engine type, and things like this. Sometimes there could be 2, sometimes there could be 4, sometimes there could be more. And so it can always be a good idea to go get a diagram where everything's laid out. For example, here's a 2005 Sportage, and as you can see, bank 1, sensor 1 is right here before the catalytic converter. And the one before the catalytic converter is going to be called the upstream oxygen sensor, and the one after is going to be called the downstream oxygen sensor. But the first thing to go and do is locate this bank 1, sensor 1 oxygen sensor on your particular Honda. And then the next thing to do once you locate it is to check out the wiring real good and be sure everything looks like it's connected and not damaged or anything like this. Basically, keep in mind anything wrong with the wiring is going to cause the same symptoms as a bad sensor. Also keep in mind that these could be on a fuse and sometimes a relay, so that's something to keep in mind. For example, here's a 2016 Honda Civic, and it'll be on this LAF fuse, and if that fuse was a blow, then it can cause some issues, so that's something to keep in mind. So you check out the wiring looks like it's good, there's no blown fuses, nothing like that, then very likely that sensor has just failed, it just needs to be replaced. You can't test it if you want to, there's some good YouTube videos on how you go about testing it, but the next thing to do is either test or replace that bank 1, sensor 1 oxygen sensor. And one thing to keep in mind with these sensors is that sometimes they require a special tool to get out and get back in and get around that wire. Not all the time, sometimes they can be more out in the open, but sometimes they're recessed down into the exhaust where you need this special tool to be able to get it back in and get around that wire. So be sure to go and look at it and be sure that you got the right tools to be able to get it out and get it back in. Otherwise, you might need to get that special tool when you go to order the oxygen sensor. And so that's basically it. I just want to give a basic overview of how you go about fixing the Honda with the P1168 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.